What's up, everybody? I'm Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays. Welcome to the NFL Power Hour. It's a new show we do every day at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Max Wagers Network. And we're going through three teams and their regular season over-unders, regular season win totals. That's the name of the game. We're going to start out with the Broncos, move on to the Titans, and finish up with the Cardinals. But before we get rolling, I got to remind everybody about our sponsor, BetMGM. Up to $1,000 in a risk-free first bet for all new accounts. Just use the promo code MORNING when you download the mobile sports betting app, or you can check out the description of this video and click on the link. It will bring you right to Caesars. So up first, we've got Mr. Sean Higgs, dear old friend of mine. How you going, Mr. Sean Higgs?
All right, just waiting for the NFL to start. Right, it's baseball. Somebody's going to watch this like the first week of September. And be like, "What are you guys talking about the Juan Soto trade for?" It's September.
Right.
Not knowing we're doing this at the end of July. But listen, I like my baseball, but I'm excited. Hall of Fame game next week. College football is like 30 something days away, so almost football season. Fall
It's all
weather.
It's all right around the corner. That's just it. We're all almost there. So we are going to talk regular season win totals. Never too early to talk a little football, even make some bets on football. We're looking at the Broncos here. 10.5 is where they're at. Higgs, what's your first reaction when you saw this number for the Broncos? We know they just got quarterback Russell Wilson, so that's the big deal
Did
in
they? Oh,
Colorado.
I thought Brock
Oh,
Osweiler
you
was
didn't
back.
hear? It's kind of a big deal. I love that they play the Seahawks in week one also. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this?
All right, well, good trade. They need a quarterback. They haven't had one since Manning came in here at the tail end of his career. I think Russ is a little better physical specimen right now than when Payton came to town. But I like the under. 10.5 is I think a pretty heavy duty number there. I mean, last I checked, you still have Kansas City, who I think is going to be down a little bit. San Diego's still a good team. A lot of love for the Raiders. People are talking playoffs for this team. I mean, this is. I did Dallas last week. This is the same kind of division where I see teams just beating up on each other. Maybe somebody goes 5-1, but really 3-3s across the board. Who is this team going 4-2? I look at the schedule. You mentioned Seattle first week. I've already bet Seattle in 4.5. I've already
Mhm.
taken Seattle. You know, okay, is Russ Wilson a better quarterback than whoever Seattle trots out there in week one? Okay, but you know what?
Yeah.
You spent 10 years at that team. I'm pretty sure the coach kind of knows your ins and outs and your strengths and your weaknesses. And let's be honest, they're his friend. They want to go out there and be like, you want to get out of here so bad? We got something in store for you. So, I mean, like, I could see him losing that game. They follow that up with the Texans, who, again, they're home. They should win that game, right? You should beat the Texans. Uh, but you look at the schedule. I mentioned Texans. They play the Colts. That's not a gimme. Tennessee's not a gimme.
Mhm.
The Jaguars probably a gimme. That's a road game. You should win that one. But I look at the schedule again. San Francisco, is that you should win this? Lance looks like he's going to get the call here. I look at the schedule. I see 8 wins, maybe 9, maybe 9 if you get the toss up. Maybe you take both games from the Chargers or something, or you get a fluke play there. But I mean, 10.5. What am I missing? Are you bringing Randy Gregory from the Cowboys? All right, I'm a Cowboy fan. Randy Gregory's great. Guy hasn't played a full season ever. Is he going to be healthy now and be a great number 2 to Chubb on defense against a pro? I can't. How are you betting on somebody who hasn't played in 5 years? I can't. And half the time when he's not hurt, he's out on a drug related suspension. The wide receivers, they got their receivers. Cortland Sutton's good. Judy's a solid guy, but this team still has Melvin Gordon as part of their 1-2 combination in the backfield. I don't know. For me, 10.5. I have to go under. I mean, going over this entire schedule, I look at it. At Baltimore is not an easy game. At Carolina, we could laugh about Baker. That's who knows that. I mean, Mark Rule's he's going to be on a hot seat. That. So you're
Right.
going into that game in November. Who knows what Carolina weather is? Okay, Russ is used to the snow and rain out in Seattle. Okay, it's not a cakewalk. 10.5 wins is way too many. Okay, 2 versus KC, 2 versus the Chargers. You got the Colts who are a playoff team. Tennessee, we'll be talking about that later on. That's not an easy game. I don't see again 8-9, 9-8 for this team. I mean, if they win 10, I would be shocked. I'd say I'd shave my eyebrows, but I don't want to do that. I got to keep my eyebrows. I do not see this team winning 10 games, more or less 11 to go over. Not happen. No, no
And
way.
Do you think this line, first of all, what was their season win total last season? I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I don't even know. I mean,
Do you think
listen.
this line is inflated because of Russ Wilson? That's really my main question I'm
I
getting
mean,
at here.
but it has to be. Okay, they get a new coach. He was the OC in Green Bay. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. Is it? Are you really? It's you got two different kind of quarterbacks the way they play between Rodgers
Right.
and. I'm not saying Russ isn't as good. I mean he's awesome. The guy's
Yeah.
he's very good. I'm not bad mouthing that, but you got a new coach coming in, so you're working on your old West Coast kind of stuff in your short passing game. You still got to get on the same page as things. Again, at 10.5, this isn't it's not the Legion of Boom defense. Like when
Right.
if it was some kind of super defense, I didn't even mention. I just brought the Seattle defense up because that's who he took to the Super Bowl with. This defense is not that defense. You got a couple of decent guys over there. It's not a shutdown unit by any stretch of the means. Where is the 10.5? Where are they coming from? Well, I look at. I mean, where is it? Seattle, Houston, San Fran, Vegas, Indy, the Chargers, the Jets. Okay, beat the Jets on at home. The Jaguars on the road. Again, you should win there. Tennessee on the road. I think that's a loss. You got Vegas at Carolina, at Baltimore. That's a tough back-to-back spot. Then that Baltimore. You got Kansas City on deck after that. I mean, that's just a bad look head spot right out of the gate.
Right.
Arizona. You got the Rams on Christmas Day. That's a loser in LA. You're not winning that one. And after that, you got a New Year's Day game versus Kansas City on the road. That's a loser. You wind up with the Chargers. You go into the playoffs with 3 straight losses.
Bam.
I mean,
All right.
I don't understand. I mean, okay, Hackett comes over, good offensive coordinator. He had Aaron Rodgers. That guy makes any guy look good. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, we could go on and on about their wide receivers. They don't take any, but I mean, all right. Maybe the guy's a miracle worker. I just don't see it in this team. The defense isn't strong enough to carry this team to. You need 11 wins. Good luck getting 11 wins.
Yeah, that's a lot of action there. That's a lot of winning. So I think it's needless to say at this point, we're going under the 10.5 wins is what we're going to roll with here for the Broncos.
I'd go under 9. I'd find a alternate and go under the 9.
Really? I like that. I like the way you roll.
At best, this is a 9-win
shop
team.
around, everybody. Don't forget, shop around. We're using BetMGM lines, but there are tons of other books out there. So always shop your lines around, especially if we're talking about futures. I like to mention this every show. These are future bets for anyone who's new at betting. So this means that the money that you place on them is going to be locked up until the season is over. Okay, so you're putting a lot of money on hold that you can't play with. So keep that in mind as you're making these bets, and keep your limits a little bit lower just because of that. Now, Sean Higgs over at picksandparlays.net on the leaderboards, you are number 4 over the last 30 days. Up $245. Tell the people what you've been up to over at the site and where they can find your premium plays.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Why did it say shocked under my name? I'm shocked that they have 10.5 wins. So right now it's baseball. I'm a baseball guy. Love my dogs. I mean, you see the leaderboard. I pump out a lot of baseball. Although yesterday and today, not a lot of action. Some days it's just not there. But I'm just grinding away on my dogs, some totals, maybe a few run lines. But again, Hall of Fame game. Football's right around the corner. I'm excited about that. I do totals. I lock into season stuff ahead of time. So I'm one of those guys with a little bankroll I could throw out there. Cast that little line. Hopefully we'll grab a few. We'll see how we do. But listen, it's summer. It's August is coming. It's a lot of baseball. But NFL, don't be afraid to do some preseason NFL, folks. The coaches tell you exactly who's going to play. I don't want to say it's easy. I never say things are easy, but you could find a little bit of an edge during preseason football.
Yes. And if you really want an edge, grab one of our professional handicappers and put them in your pocket. You could get a week-long pass, a month-long pass, a whole year long. You can buy the entire NFL package, all of Sean Higgs' picks, or any of our cappers over at picksandparlays.net and use that promo code CFL. It saves you 20% off whatever you get on the site. Sean Higgs, thank you so much for joining the NFL Power Hour. We'll see you every day at noon Eastern on Midday Money to hear your breakdown on baseball props and NFL futures. Thanks for joining us, Sean.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we're going to move right along here to the Titans. But before we do, I've got to remind you about the BetMGM promo code. It is morning. That's up to $1,000 in a risk-free first bet for all new accounts. Use the promo code morning when you download the mobile betting app or just check out the description of this video and click on the link. Up next from the Insiders Room, I have Nick Parsons here to talk the Titans. How's it going, Nick?
Yeah, it's going great, Allie. Just like Sean, can't wait for football to get here. But yeah, lots of baseball still to go. We've caught fire again here in July. So excited for baseball, excited for football. Let's go.
Excellent. And you guys were 9-1 in the playoffs. The Insiders Room was 9-1 in the NFL playoffs last year, if I remember correctly. This is definitely a spot where y'all shine. Now, this number, we've seen it in a few different spots. So again, make sure that you are checking your numbers, shopping your lines around. We saw an 8.5, but BetMGM's holding it at a 9.5. Nick, what do you think about the Tennessee Titans? Over or under the 9.5 for season wins?
Well, I think for many, they'll look at this 9.5 number and they'll be asking what's up here because, this is a Titans team that's won 11 and 12 games over the last 2 seasons. Even when Derrick Henry went down with injury last year, Mike Vrabel was able to keep the team winning. It finished 12-5 last season. And now Henry's back at 100%. Tennessee fans, I think, they have every reason to think that this upcoming 22-23 season could be just as good or even better than last year. So then what is the deal with this 9.5 number then? In each of the 4 seasons before 2020, the Titans won exactly 9 games each in each of those 4 seasons. I think many analysts aren't convinced about Ryan Tannehill and whether he's the right man for the job. But really, over the last 3 seasons, he's been unbelievably solid. And with Henry back in the lineup, the offense should be just as good as it was last year. With the defense, the defense was really solid last year. It should be able to pick up where it left off last year as well. So it does appear that Tennessee should be able to go over this win total and match what it did last year. But the deal is the scheduling. It's just really tough this year. They get a first place schedule in 2022 because they won the division last year. Tennessee has to face the AFC West. It has to face the NFC East. They also have to face the Bengals at home, the Bills on the road, and the Packers on the road. So all 4 teams in the AFC West are going to be tough to beat this year. They get the Broncos and Raiders at home, but they face the Chiefs and Chargers on the road. They face the Giants at home. Last week, I broke down the Giants. I predicted that they would go over their 7.5 win total. And they should be able to take care of the Giants at home, no problem. But they face a Cowboys team at home. That's going to be a tough game for sure. Tennessee should once again win the division. The Colts are going to put up a fight, but not much is expected of Jacksonville or of Houston this year. They went 5-1 in division play last year. They should be able to match that this year. So they are expected to do well in their own division. But facing the AFC West is going to be difficult for sure. And really, I think that going 2-2 against the NFC East would be considered a success as well. And then for the games against the Bills, Bengals, and Packers, they could miraculously go 3-0. They could go 2-1, but they could just as easily go 0-3 in those games. And so I think that I'm going to be a bit of a contrarian here, perhaps with this one, a bit of a pessimist instead of an optimist. But yeah, I'm saying that the best that Tennessee does this year is 9-8. And so, Allie, I'm predicting the under in this one.
We are taking it under. All right. I'm a little worried about the Colts this season. I think the Colts are one we've got to keep our eye on, and that could definitely be a problem as far as the Titans are concerned. All right, Nick. So like I was saying about Sean, you've got the same options available over at picksandparlays.net, year-long, week-long, month-long passes, all for the NFL. Insiders Room over the last 30 days, up $971. You are number 1 on the site. You're number 2 on our hottest cappers list. You guys are on fire. Remind our viewers how your NFL season went last season.
Yeah, we had another winning season overall last year, and we were really locked in during the playoffs. You mentioned it. We went 9-1 over the playoffs and Super Bowl. And then Sean also mentioned it. Yeah, looking ahead to the upcoming season here, we also love playing preseason football. And we just can't wait for the regular season. We love the NFL. So we're going to be betting a lot every game we possibly can. And so, yeah, these season-long packages, if you can get locked in now at these lower rates, they're definitely high value for sure.
Yes, and definitely use the promo code CFL. It saves 20% off whatever you're buying off the site. Definitely look into the insider's room when you're checking out your options. Nick Parsons, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, don't forget, check out the insider's room Discord. It's a really great spot to connect with not only Nick Parsons, but Dan Kaiser, some of the other handicappers that you see on the picksandparlays.net site. Rye Cape is over there, Dustin Bowser, Ross Man, lots of great cappers. So check out that Insiders Room Discord also. Thank you, Nick Parsons. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Allie.
All right, all right. So we've got one more team to cover today. It's going to be the Arizona Cardinals, but I've got to remind you again, make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and check out BetMGM. Download that mobile app onto your phone and use the promo code MORNING. Save yourself claim your promo of up to 20. Holy heck, I'm garbled in promo codes right now. That's how much value we give to you. I'm just covered in promo codes. So for BetMGM, use that code MORNING, up to $1,000 in your risk-free first bet. That's how that goes. Or like I said, check out the description of the video and click on that link. Last but not least, I've got expert Ross Benjamin with me today. Hi, Ross. How are you?
I'm very good, Ellie, and I'm jonesing for some football.
Everybody is. We all got the itch, don't we? We all got the itch right now. Let's get it going. Yeah, that's just it. So we're talking the Arizona Cardinals in this one. They've got a team total, regular season win total of 8.5. Now, I know you saw this one out at a 9, so this is another number. Depending on if you like it over or under, you might want to shop it around to see if you find one that suits you. Ross, what are you thinking about this 8.5 for Arizona?
Yeah, I've seen it as high as 9.5, but MGM is our sponsor, and we're going to use that line of 8.5 as the regular season win total. Um, Here's the thing, Ellie. This was a playoff team a season ago, and their regular season win total is 8.5. So, I mean, basically, to me, that speaks volumes to me. You very rarely see a team that has a regular season win total this low, even though it's 17 games still. And they were a playoff team a season ago, especially a team that really hasn't had a huge turnover in personnel. And when I look at NFL regular season win totals, I trust the bookmaker. I'm not going to bore everybody with the personnel of the Arizona Cardinals on both sides of the ball, special teams, etc. I just look at the raw numbers, and that's what I want to beat is the number. Arizona last year, they finished 11-6, but they started 7-0. And I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but Arizona is the first team in NFL history to start 7-0 and end up with 6 or more losses. So, and this is a very disturbing trend under Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury will be entering his 4th season as the Arizona Cardinals head coach. His first 3, that disturbing trend I'm referring to is fast starts and terrible finishes. Now in 2019, which was his first year, yes, they started 3-3, not a real fast start, but they finished the year by losing 7 of their last 9 games. 2020, they started out 6-0 and then lost 5 of their last 7 to finish at 8-8. And then last season, like I just alluded to, they start 7-0. They finish 11-6. They lose 5 of their last 6 games, including the playoff game against the Rams, in which they, without going into further detail, just didn't show up. They were blown out 34-11. Now, in terms of a fast start this year, you'd be hard pressed to predict that Arizona is going to get off to a 7-0 start this year, especially when you look at their first 3 games. Their opener, they will host the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they'll go to the Las Vegas Raiders in a road game in week 2. And then week 3, they host the defending world champion Los Angeles Rams, who just blew them out of the water last year in the playoffs, as I just touched upon. They also lose a home game this year. They were scheduled to play 9 home games and 8 on the road, but the NFL decided they're going to substitute their home game against San Francisco and move it to a neutral site in Mexico City, Mexico. So that's an opportunity against a quality team like San Francisco that it might go by the wayside because of that change of venue. There's two ways I look at strength of schedules. And not to go, I'm not going to run through everybody they're playing. And again, let's keep it simple. The first way I look at this is whoever they're playing this year, I add up their regular season win totals. For example, if you look at Arizona's schedule, you go to MGM and you see who they're going to play this year and what their regular season win totals are, and you add those all up. The higher the number, the stronger the schedule. And Arizona, with that formula in mind, is playing the seventh toughest schedule in the NFL. Secondly, the way to look at things is to look at their schedule this year and their opponents and calculate the win percentage of those opponents from last year. And if you did that, the Arizona Cardinals played a second toughest schedule in the NFL. So when you start assessing all that, and then you look at the fact that 5 of their 8 home opponents were playoff teams from a season ago, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals here under the regular season win total of 8.5, Ellie. And I would encourage, not to slight our sponsor, but I would encourage the viewers to look elsewhere as well and shop those lines.
Yep, that's just it. Some books have great lines one way, some books have great lines the other way. You got to shop around on all of your lines. It's very, very important when it comes to making money. Let me ask you this about Kyler Murray. I know there was a lot of disdain in the locker room with him last season. And, he's got this big record-setting contract, and now he's big on this 4 hours of study hub, independent study. Do you think part of the reason that this win total is low is because there could be some locker room issues that maybe the betting public isn't necessarily zoning in on right now?
I'm sure that's a small part of it, Ellie.
Okay.
I don't know if we could say, well, that's the major reason why.
Right.
I'm not going to go there. I will say that Kyler Murray, to me, is a guy who's really reached the ceiling. I mean, he's not a Joe Burrow. He's not a Josh Allen, 2 guys that have been performed as a top 5 quarterback last year. And you could see both of those quarterbacks ascending even more this year and in the future. I don't know if I could say that about Kyler Murray. So again, and then Cliff Kingsbury, I think folks are pretty starting to catch on to the fact that this guy, he's got a lot of bells and whistles offensively, but when it comes down to it, his teams fade down the stretch, as I touched upon. So I think if you combine all those factors, hopefully, I know I didn't answer your question exactly, but that's my thought process.
It's worth throwing it in there because it has been a bit of a headline. Sure. But I mean, you answered it in the way that I think is correct, which is that does it have something to do with it? Probably a little, but not a whole lot. We're not basing the whole regular season win total just based on what Kyler Murray's doing, basically. So Ross, what do you have lined up over at picksandparlays.net for our viewers? What are you doing packages and subscriptions also, right?
Yes. I mean, if you go to my page at picksandparlays.net, you'll see my NFL package. Annual package is $549. Also, we have a special right now, early bird special in college football. You can get 25% off right now up until August 1st, I believe. I may be incorrect on that date, but I know you have some time to get in on that early bird special. Major League Baseball has been a real struggle for me over the last few weeks. It happens. I'm looking to finish really strong in the last couple of months of the Major League Baseball season. My Major League Baseball 10-star top plays, which are the equivalent of my best bets, still 53 and 36 since the start of last year, which is good for 60%. So a lot of great things and exciting things coming up at picksandparlays.net. And I'm elated to be part of this team. A lot of quality handicappers at the site, and it pushes each one of us to be better on a daily basis, Ellie.
Yes, and it's a lot of fun. You guys are really friendly competitive, but y'all are competitive with each
Oh,
other. You
yeah.
like to be on the top for sure, and that's an important thing to have. That means you guys care about the picks that you are giving out. True professionals. Some guys, they'll just give you 10 picks a day and you cross your fingers and hope for the best. We like to stay lower numbers of picks given out. And Ross, I know you're big on lower juice also. You're
Yeah.
always under
Yeah.
that minus 130, which is really important too. The value of buying picks from a handicapper. Anybody can tell me to take a minus 200. I don't need to buy that off of anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to do
And
your work.
some of these guys hit 60% or better, and they're losing money on the air for exactly the reason that Ellie just brought up.
Yep. Sometimes it happens. Well, people, check out Ross Benjamin at picksandparlays.net. Use that promo code CFL to save you 20% off whatever you purchase from him. And until then, we're going to go under the 8.5. If you can find it at a 9.5, take it under that 9.5 too for the Arizona Cardinals regular season win totals. Thanks so much, Ross.
Oh, thank you for having me, Ellie.
Of course. All right, guys, that just about does it for the NFL Power Hour for this Tuesday. Check us out every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to keep doing this all the way through football season. Again, use that promo code MORNING when you're checking out BetMGM. Morning will get you hooked up with up to $1,000 and a risk-free first bet for all new accounts. You can also click on that link located in the description of this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us on the NFL Power Hour, brought to you by Picks and Parlays, the Max Wagers Network, and BetMGM.